There's a version of Miami that exists only in photographs. Pastel buildings, palm trees, that specific shade of blue you don't quite believe until you see it. And then there's the version you actually walk into when you land. More than 27 million people come here annually. Most of them leave with 200 photos and one nagging question. Was any of that real? Miami is one of the most photographed cities on Earth and one of the most argued about. People love it. People hate it. Almost nobody feels neutral. So today we're doing what we always do here. We're taking the postcard and we're turning it over to read what's written on the back. The beaches, the food, the Cuban culture, the Art Deco, the nightlife that genuinely has no equal. And the prices, the traffic, the scams, the heat, and the strange feeling that half the city is performing for a camera. If you enjoy the kind of travel breakdown where nobody's getting paid to lie to you, you already know what to do with that subscribe button. Let's find out if Miami earns it. Let's start with the honest part. The beach is not hype. Miami's coastline runs from Homestead all the way up to Sunny Isles Beach. The water is genuinely that color. The sand is genuinely that soft. Those candy-colored lifeguard towers aren't a filter. They're just there. Here's the thing nobody tells you though. South Beach is the most famous stretch, and it is not the best stretch. Head north past 63rd Street, and the crowds thin out dramatically. Bal Harbour, Surfside, North Beach, same ocean, a fraction of the noise. Key Biscayne gives you a different Miami entirely. Slower, greener, almost suburban. Crandon Park has calm, shallow water that families actually prefer. If you go to Miami and only see South Beach, you didn't really see Miami's beaches. Now, the architecture. Because this is where Miami gets genuinely serious. The Miami Beach Architectural District holds roughly 800 preserved structures. It's one of the largest concentrations of 1920s and 30s Art Deco anywhere on the planet. Rounded corners, porthole windows, racing stripes, neon that has been buzzing since before your grandparents were born. This district almost got bulldozed in the 1970s. A woman named Barbara Bear Capitman fought to save it, building by building. Because of her, Miami has an architectural identity that Orlando, Tampa, and Fort Lauderdale simply do not. Walk it in the morning, before the crowds and the promoters wake up. That's when it feels like a real place instead of a set. But the part of Miami that actually justifies the flight, it's not on the beach at all. Cross the causeway, go west, get to Calle Ocho. At Maximo Gomez Park, everybody calls it Domino Park, men have been slamming tiles down at the same tables for decades. Nobody's performing, nobody's checking a phone, they're just playing. A cortadito at a Ventanita window runs you a couple of dollars. It'll hit you harder than anything you've had from a chain. Versailles has been on Calle Ocho since 1971. It's the unofficial town square of the Cuban exile community. When something big happens involving Cuba, the news trucks park here before they park anywhere else. Here's the honest note though, and locals will tell you this themselves. Versailles is now more landmark than restaurant. The food is fine. It's not the best Cuban food in Miami anymore. Go for the history and the room. Eat your best Cuban meal somewhere else. Sandwich makes a Cuban sandwich that people argue is the best in the country. Islas Canarias has croquetas that ruin croquetas for you everywhere else. Ball and Chain has live music, real mojitos, and no cover charge. That's the Miami that isn't performing. Walk into a cigar shop, watch someone roll one by hand, duck into a gallery. Most of them will talk to you for free. If you can time it, Viernes Culturales, Cultural Fridays, happens the last Friday of every month. Street music, open galleries, food, no ticket required. Then there's Wynwood. Once a warehouse district nobody visited, now one of the densest concentrations of street art in America. And yes, it has become extremely aware of itself. There are walls in Wynwood where people queue to take the same photo. But the side streets, the ones without a hashtag, still have the good stuff. The breweries are genuinely good and genuinely reasonable, which in Miami counts as a miracle. And if you want proof Miami has actual depth, go to Vizcaya, a 1916 Italian Renaissance villa sitting on Biscayne Bay. It's the single least Miami-looking thing in Miami, and it's spectacular. An hour west, the Everglades start. Alligators, herons, sawgrass to the horizon. A genuine ecosystem, not an attraction. Miami has all of this. So why do so many people come home from it disappointed? Let's talk about money, because this is where Miami stops being charming. In early 2026, the average hotel room in Miami-Dade County ran close to $280 a night. That's second in the entire country, behind only San Francisco. The highest rates cluster in Bal Harbour, Coconut Grove, Key Biscayne, and Miami Beach. Now here's the part that gets people. That advertised rate is a fiction. Miami Beach adds roughly 13% in local taxes on top. Then most properties tack on a resort fee, often $20 a day or more. A $150 room realistically costs you closer to $190. And parking. Many hotels charge $40 to $60 a night on top of that. Miami Beach hotel rooms are also generally smaller than what you'd get in most American cities. Thin walls are a running complaint. Bring earplugs. That's not a joke. Food. This is where the gap between the two Miamis gets brutal. In South Beach, cocktails hit $30. Dinner for two can clear $150 easily. For a dish that costs $15 to $25 in a normal Miami neighborhood, Ocean Drive will charge you $25 to $45. Cross the bridge to Little Havana, and the same quality of meal runs $12 to $25. So what's the real daily number? Budget travelers doing Cuban cafeterias and casual spots, $45 to $75 a day just on food. A comfortable mid-range trip, decent hotel, mix of casual and good dining, a couple of attractions, runs $200 to $350 a day. Luxury, $500 and up, easily. Overall, Miami is the 12th most expensive city in the United States, roughly 23% above the national average. It's still cheaper than New York by a wide margin, roughly 17% cheaper than Los Angeles. But at the beachfront, Miami prices rival either of them, and you'll probably need a car. Budget $280 to $650 for a week including gas and fees. Public transit exists. It is not adequate for tourism. The Metro Rail and Metro Mover cover a fraction of what you'd actually want to reach. The one exception, if you're staying in Miami Beach for 3 or 4 days, you can go car-free using rideshares. Everything you need is walkable. Everything else you Uber. Miami traffic deserves its own section because it will eat your vacation. INREX data has consistently ranked Miami among the worst congested cities in the world. Recent figures put Miami drivers at roughly 75 hours a year lost sitting in traffic. At its worst, average speeds in downtown Miami drop to around 15 miles an hour. That's not commuting, that's parking with extra steps. And Florida loves a toll. The express lanes will bleed you slowly. Miami Beach parking is its own hostage situation. Street parking runs $4 to $15 an hour. During peak periods, entertainment district garages have charged flat rates of $40 to $100. And the towing fee for a non-resident parking violation? $548. Read every sign twice. Miami Beach parking enforcement does not blink. And if you're coming in 2026, understand what the World Cup did to this city. Hard Rock Stadium hosted 7 matches between June 15th and July 18th. On the night Brazil played Scotland, Miami hotel revenue per room jumped 90%, the highest figure the city posted all year. Ride shares that normally run $25 to $30 surged to $60, $80, $100 and up around kickoff. Stadium parking ran $50 to $100 per match. Miami-Dade's government expected to spend up to $46 million hosting it. If you're planning a trip in the tail end of this summer, understand you're arriving in a city that just got squeezed. Now let's talk about the thing Miami defenders hate discussing. Ocean Drive has a documented, decades-long history of ripping off tourists. The classic version, a host hawks 2-for-1 drinks and hands you a menu with no prices. The drinks arrive enormous, $50 each. The bill arrives with gratuity already baked in, which some diners miss and tip on top of. Reported cases include a $55 paella, billed at $110, a $25 Blue Moon, $120 breakfasts. Miami Beach eventually had to legislate this. Restaurants now must list prices. Service charges must appear in at least 14-point font. The restaurant's name has to be prominently displayed. That's how bad it got. The city had to write a law saying, "Put the prices on the menu." Card skimming is a live problem, particularly on Collins Avenue and around South Beach. Use ATMs inside banks or hotels. Cover your PIN. Check for anything loose on the card slot. Beach vendors, chairs, umbrellas, jet skis. Quote one price, then add insurance, fuel and service fees at payment. Get the total in writing before you hand over anything. Fake parking attendants work public lots, collecting cash for spots they don't own. Pay through the official app or a city meter, nothing else. And the promoters, the guest list guys, the VIP entry guys. They'll get you into a mediocre club with a high cover, overpriced drinks, and mandatory gratuity in the fine print. Miami also has a long, colourful history of B-girl-style scams. Attractive strangers steering tourists into private clubs and running up enormous card charges. That one went all the way to a federal conviction. Here's the practical version of all of this. Check every price before you order. Check every bill before you pay. Never accept a menu without numbers on it. And if someone has to chase you down the sidewalk to get you into their restaurant, that restaurant is not good. Nobody prepares you for what Miami actually feels like in summer. The air temperature sits in the low to mid-90s. That sounds manageable. It is not, because the humidity pushes the heat index to 105 to 112. That's not warm. That's a National Weather Service excessive heat warning. Miami-Dade has gone from about 84 days a year above 90 degrees in 1970 to roughly 133 now. The county appointed the world's first chief heat officer. That is not a normal thing for a city to need. In early July of 2026, a heat dome parked over the southeast and pushed the region toward record highs. World Cup watch parties in Miami Beach ran under active heat advisories. Understand what this does to a vacation. You do not walk around Miami in July. You move between air-conditioned boxes. Afternoon thunderstorms roll in almost daily in summer. They're brief, they're violent, they don't cool anything down. And then there's flooding. Miami floods on sunny days. King tides push seawater up through the storm drains. You'll see standing salt water on streets with a clear blue sky overhead. Hurricane season runs June 1st through November 30th, peaking August through October. The odds of a direct hit in any given week are low. The consequences, if it happens, are not. September and October give you the lowest prices of the year, 40 to 60% below winter rates. They also give you the highest storm probability. May and November are the sweet spot. 30 to 40% savings, much lower risk and heat you can survive. That's the answer nobody puts in a travel brochure. Okay, let's talk about the thing that's hardest to quantify. Miami has a superficiality problem, and pretending otherwise is dishonest. Enormous stretches of this city exist to be photographed, not experienced. You will sit in restaurants where more people are photographing food than eating it. Nightlife here runs on hierarchy: bottle service, table minimums, velvet ropes. You are being evaluated at the door of most South Beach clubs. That's the business model. Table minimums at major clubs routinely start in the hundreds and climb into the thousands. There's a status performance running constantly here that some people find electric and other people find exhausting. If you're the second kind of person, South Beach nightlife will make you feel like you're at a party you weren't invited to. Instagram tourism has genuinely warped parts of this city. There are cafes in Miami that were clearly designed by someone thinking about a phone screen before they thought about food. There are walls whose only function is to be a background. And then, 2 miles inland, there's a domino table where nobody has looked at a phone in an hour. Both of those are Miami. The question is, which one you're going to spend your money on? Because Miami will absolutely sell you the shallow version if you don't actively steer away from it. The good version requires effort. It requires leaving the beach. Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, Little Haiti, Doral, Westchester. Doral and Westchester have Venezuelan arepas that most tourists will never hear about. Little Haiti has a culture as deep as Little Havana's and about 2% of the foot traffic. The rule is simple: west of I-95, quality goes up and prices go down. East of it, on Ocean Drive, you're paying a premium to be marketed at. One more thing you need to know if you're planning around March. Miami Beach spent 2024 and 2025 in what it publicly called a breakup with spring break. 6 p.m. beach closures, blanket midnight curfews, garages shut entirely, barricades everywhere. In 2026, the city loosened most of that. Beaches stay open normal hours. There is no automatic midnight curfew, but the police chief retained the authority to impose one instantly if serious incidents occur. During designated high-impact weekends, security checkpoints screen bags at limited beach entrances. DUI checkpoints operate. Slingshot, moped and scooter rentals get shut down entirely. Packaged liquor stores in the Art Deco district close at 8 p.m. Miami Beach police operate over 1,000 cameras with more than 2,000 views of the city. And alcohol is prohibited on Miami Beach, year-round, not just in March. If you're bringing family in March, the message is clear. South Beach between 5th and 23rd caters to the party crowd. North Beach, Bal Harbour, and the mainland are where families should be. And Miami Beach recently relaxed rules on live music venues year-round, raising indoor occupancy caps on Lincoln Road and Washington Avenue. Translation: nightlife is coming back on the city's terms. So, should you go to Miami? Here's the honest answer, and it's more complicated than yes or no. Miami is 2 cities occupying the same coordinates. One of them is an expensive, aggressive, photograph-obsessed marketing operation. The other is one of the most culturally rich, genuinely distinctive cities in the Western Hemisphere. The tragedy is that most visitors only ever meet the first one. They land, they cab to South Beach, they never cross the causeway, and they leave thinking Miami is shallow. Miami isn't shallow. Ocean Drive is shallow. Those are not the same thing. So here's who should go. Go if you're curious enough to leave the beach. Go if you'll drive to Little Havana and Coral Gables and Little Haiti. Go if you want to walk Art Deco at 8 in the morning before the city wakes up and starts hustling. Go if you'd rather find the mural nobody's photographing. Go if you'll stay north of 63rd Street and let South Beach be somebody else's problem. And go in May or November when the heat won't hospitalize you and the prices haven't peaked. Skip it if you want a relaxing beach vacation on a budget. Miami is not that. Miami is not close to that. Skip it if traffic ruins your mood. Skip it if you resent being marketed to. If all you want is warm water and white sand for cheap, the Gulf Coast will treat you better and cost you less. But nowhere else in America gives you what Miami gives you. Nowhere else has a Cuban community this deep. Nowhere else has 800 Art Deco buildings. Nowhere else feels like the crossroads of North and South America the way Miami does. Miami is not all image, but the image is very good at making sure you never find out. That's the whole trip in one sentence. The Miami worth seeing is the one you have to go looking for. If this saved you from a $120 breakfast on Ocean Drive, do me one small favor. Hit subscribe. That's the whole ask. We do this for every destination on this channel, the postcard and then the receipt. And we don't take a check from anybody's tourism board. So tell me in the comments, did Miami earn it for you, or did it sell you something that wasn't there? I'll see you on the next Should I Go video.